Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Yu-Gi-Oh! Yummy Morphtronic deck profile for Genesys format. This is probably the strangest deck idea I've had for not maybe even just Genesys, but the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole. But I wanted to make the Yummy lineup work with the Genesys format, and obviously the biggest weakness for the Yummies in Genesys is the lack of link monsters, and Yummy Snatchy not being able to be used in the deck puts a real damper on part of the playstyle for the Yummy monsters. But aside from that, we do still have a pretty strong engine in the form of the different Yummy monsters we run. And I figured the biggest thing you needed to access those Yummy monsters is an engine that can give you the other part of the Yummy engine that can special summon them out onto the field with ease. And that is the level 2 Synchro engine. And that's where the Morphtronic monsters come in, being able to summon themselves out quite easily with cards like Selphon, and then be able to go into the generic Synchro plays that we have in the form of our Yummy monsters, being able to have the generic synchros to then use to summon out those monsters. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and get started with the main deck monsters. For the Morphtronic engine, we're running 3 copies of Morphtronic Selphon. You use it for the attack position effect of being able to roll a 6-sided die and then excavate the top cards of your deck and equal to the die roll, and then whatever the number was, if you have a Morphtronic monster revealed off those cards, you can special summon that monster as well. So then it's meant to access your tuner monster side of the Morphtronic monsters to then be able to go for your synchro plays, with some of those tuners being cards like Morphtronic Smartphone. It cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing one Morphtronic from your graveyard, but Smartphone can be summoned off of Selphon because it ignores the summoning condition, so then this card can be summoned, and then the Excavate effect can add a Morphtronic card from your deck to your hand, so then you can have an additional add off of that. But the big play here is to grab your Smartphone off of Selphon, then have your level 2 Synchro play, which then you can use to initiate the Yummy part of the Synchro summon. The additional tuners we run include the 3 copies of Morphtronic Lantron. The effect for this card prevents battle damage when destroyed in defense position, and also when your opponent would take any effect damage you would take from an opponent's card, your opponent takes instead with the attack position effect. But the main play for Lantron is just to have another target off of the special summon of Selphon to be able to get a tuner on the field to use. And then lastly, for the Morphtronic monsters, 1 copy of Morphtronic Telephone. We can only run the one. Morphtronic Telephone is 55 points in the deck just because of the loop capabilities it would cause if we had a second copy of this card in the deck. So we have to play with the one, just another tuner. It has the roll dice option, and then special summoning a Morphtronic from your graveyard with a level equal to or lower the result. So then it can just summon back another monster, which is great for the extension. So if we get Telephone, it does help with just continuing the plays from there also. For the Yummy part of the engine, 3 copies of Cups of Yummy. When this card, if you control a Link 1 or level 2 Synchro, which once again in Genesys we can't have a Link 1, so we have to go off of the level 2 Synchro. We can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Cupsy once per turn this way. If this card's normal or special summon, you can add 1 Yummy card from your deck to your hand, except for Cupsy Yummy. And if this card is special summoned by the effect of a Synchro monster, you can draw 1 card instead of the add effect also. So the biggest thing with the Yummy engine is it's a very strong engine regardless of how you use it. So having it as just a means to extend in the deck is a big part of it. You'll use Cupsy to search out your spells. You'll use Cupsy to search out your other monsters. You'll use Cupsy as draw power. You name it. So another 3 up for that, along with Cookie Yummy, which has the attack lowering and the destruction power when summoned off of the Synchro monster, and just needing to control the level 2 Synchro to be able to use this card effect for the special summon as well. With the last of the monsters being Lollipo Yummy, just having the banish option, so you have disruption on top of everything else in the deck also. I didn't run Marshmallow in the deck just because it's more of an extender based on the beast monster part of the deck, which Morphtronics are machine type monsters. If you wanted to run it, you could drop down some of the hand traps that take up some of the other point spots in the deck, Effect Veiler and Ghost Bell. So if you have Marshmallow, just drop down some of these hand traps for the additional add of that monster in the deck. And then for the spells, once again, we don't have Yummy Snatcher to use for the field spell setup, so we're just maxing out our numbers for the field spells. 3 Yummy Amusement Acroquay for the destruction power. If a Light Beast Synchro monster is summoned, then being able to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it, which with this power, including the other, Yummy monsters, is really a, strong engine still to behold against our opponent. With the consistency, we'll have to go up against other cards in our opponent's deck as well. So having that, and then if a face-up monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 Yummy monster from your deck. So having this makes it, I would say, the better field spell to run in Genesys format, but we're still running Minyong as well, just as an additional search. You can't have the Link Summon special summon power of this card, but you do have the boost and power to your Light Beast monsters, so then you can have some of the bigger swings with your Yummy monsters to be able to use this card. And then also 2 copies of Yummy Surprise, which if you wanted to run a 3rd copy of this card, just drop down Acroquay to a 2-of count. We do have Cupsy to be able to search out the cards. We just maxed out the numbers for more consistency to see those cards. And then for the rest of the Morphtronic engine, 3 copies of Morphtronic Repair Unit. You send a Morphtronic monster from your hand to the graveyard to select one in your graveyard and special summon it, and equip it with this card. It cannot change its battle position, and when this card is removed from the field, destroy that monster, but it doesn't negate the effect of the Morphtronic card, so you can summon back ones that are in the graveyard and then still use their card effects depending on the battle position that you summon them out onto the field with. The 3 copies of Morphtronic Converter. You target a machine monster you control, apply the effect depending on its battle position. If it's an attack position, special summon a Morphtronic from your deck with a different name than that targeted monster, then place the targeted monster on top of the deck. So you can use this card just to grab the additional monsters from our deck and place them onto the field. If you have the use of Lantron with this card, you can then summon out Selphon, and then Selphon can just grab the Lantron that was placed on the top of the deck, thanks to this card also. With the rest of the main deck cards being 3 copies of Junkbox, while not having Morphtronic in the name, it's just another extender from the graveyard for our Morphtronic part of the engine. For the extra deck, 2 copies of Cupsy Yummy Way. If it's Synchro Summon with this card, you could treat a Link one, but once again, we don't have Links in Genesys, so we just have to go off of the actual Synchro Summon using our Morphtronic monsters alongside our Yummy monsters to Synchro Summon out these cards. Cupsy Yummy Way can then search out 2 Yummy monsters, then discarding a card, which can set up other Morphtronics in your graveyard as well, thanks to this. 3 copies of Lollipo, just so we have more of the field's, presence that we can use for summoning out these cards as well. It may negate the effects of the Yummy monsters we summon back, but then we can just use them for additional synchro plays with some of the Morphtronic cards. And then 2 Cookie Yummy for the Book of Moon effect that this card can provide as well. And all the Yummy monsters have the tag out abilities, which then can grab the other Yummy monsters from the graveyard back onto the field, having search and destruction power that even for this format may be difficult for your opponent to keep up with. The other generic synchros that we run include 2 copies of Formula Synchron. Once again, it's draw power, and you could have the requirements, thanks to this card, to then just special summon out your Yummy monsters from the hand to the field also. Some of the bigger synchros include the 2 copies of Earphon for the equip power that these cards can provide for being able to make 2 attacks onto monsters during each battle phase with this card. And if it's special summon, you can target a face-up monster on the field and treat it as a tuner until the end of this turn for that added play. And with this card also, you can target 1 synchro monster on the field and equip this card from your field or graveyard to it, which then you can use to equip onto your Yummy monsters if need be for that additional attack that those Yummy monsters can do. The 1 Armory Arm along with the 1 Phonon Pulse Dragon, the 1 Starham, and the 1 Martial Metal Marcher to finish off the rest of the extra deck also. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, we're going to go with our 2 key monsters for this opening combo play, and that is Selphon and Cupsy Yummy. So the initial setup that you'll do is you'll go for the Selphon play, which once again is a game of chance with this card for the fact that you'll roll the die, but if you get lucky enough to reveal a Morphtronic tuner monster, then you can go for your synchro play right then and there. You don't even need the Cupsy in your hand. This could just be your initial setup play to begin with. Grabbing the Morphtronic monster, if you grab Smartphone, all the better, because then you have additional extended search. If you get another Selphon even, you could just go for the search off of that Selphon afterwards as well. The only thing is we don't have Link monsters, so then you'd have to rely on grabbing that last tuner for the play to continue. Grabbing the Smartphone, you can then go for your level 2 synchro play using these cards. You can go for the Formula Synchron for the draw if you already have the Cupsy Yummy in your hand. That can be synchro summoned out and then just give you an additional draw in your hand. If not, you can go for the Cupsy Yummy play for when you summon this card out. You'll get your 2 Yummy monsters added to your hand as well from this play also, and then discarding an additional card card from your hand, which depending on the card, you've already used the Morphtronic, so you should still have 4 additional cards in your hand to use. Just discarding something that you may not be able to use. Let's say it's a Lantron, setting that up in your graveyard. But from here, you have the Yummy monster on the field to then give you the additional summon of your 2 other monsters. Cups of Yummy can search out the field spell, since we don't have the Yummy Snatchy. To add it, you can either search Acrique, or you can go for the Mignon. You'll have the attack boost or the destruction power, depending on which one you want to add off of the respected Yummy play. The attack lowering power of Cookie Yummy as well. From here, you can go for an additional synchro play, also using these cards, having the extension that cards that Martial Metal Marcher, and also the equip power of Earfawn for both of these cards to rely on as well. You can go for the bigger synchro play also for those plays. If you have more of the extension plays as mentioned before in your hand, like Junk Box or Yummy Surprise, for you to summon back some of the other monsters after going into your bigger synchro plays on the field, also to then make use of. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. It's crazy, but I've had a lot of fun with testing this deck, and I'm happy with the results as well. To run the Yummy monsters in Genesys format, you just need that lower level, synchro engine to be able to make use of in the deck, and I feel the Morphtronic engine definitely does help with that. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.